Wasteland 2 is one of my favorite modern CRPGs. Game was superb in its writing, story, characters, quests, humor and atmosphere. However, it was technical mess at launch, with tons of bugs and had very shallow combat, but for some reason it was still fun and every encounter was interesting. Now finally I got my hands on beta pre-release look of Wasteland 3, thanks to Wasteland community team. Believe it or not, this is my most anticipated game since it got announced. Not Cyberpunk, Neo 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake or any other bigger titles. Fallout 1 and 2 are one of my favorite games of all time, and modern Wasteland games feel almost like proper sequels, at least to me, since two franchises are connected in a way with similar world, enemies and stories. And yes, I know about Atom RPG that I didn't play yet, and Underrail, which is great, but Wasteland series even have some of the same people that worked on classic Fallout games, like Brian Fargo. Can't get any closer than that, can it? Remember, this is still beta and the game has been pushed to August 28 due to global pandemic. Some kind of cold or something. I have to say thankfully it has been delayed, because this pre-release beta is a technical mess. Unity engine does not do this game justice, and if there is going to be Wasteland 4, I'm hoping they would switch to something else. I understand financial limitations they had to work with, as previously independent studio, but now that Microsoft has taken them under their wing, their next classical RPG could and should use better engine. So I mentioned that beta has technical issues. Not a surprise, since it is beta still, right? Problem is that there are so many that I'm not confident they could have patched it all or even most until 23rd of May, which was initial release date. Almost everything is bugged in this game. Not being able to switch weapons, characters not being able to do anything, move or something like that. Weapons missing despite being equipped, charmed animals not doing anything and so on. Game looks better than Wasteland 2, but there are some graphical issues also that take a lot from the game. For example, hair on characters looks awful, with empty patches on their heads, and since it is an isometric game, you're gonna look at their bald spots and unclear looking haircuts a lot. I'm sure these things will be polished, but these are not only technical problems. Frame rate is not stable, sound effects do not work for the most part, animations are bugged and so on. Now these things can be fixed in time, but In Exile does not have good track record of releasing polished games. Bard's Tale 4 and Wasteland 2 were a mess at release dates.
Liaison now. Old soul taking my...
Enough about technical issues, since those are only issues that I have with otherwise brilliant game that has me hooked already. Only weak part of Wasteland 2 was combat, even though it was fun. Wasteland 3 reworked combat and now it plays more like XCOM and I love it. There is really good amount of depth to it. Special abilities, strike abilities, ambush, defend, save points for next turn and cover mechanics. I've played beta on Supreme Jerk difficulty, which is highest one, and it was truly difficult. Not impossible or anything like that, but it truly felt like a great difficulty to play, because approaching to combat encounters is encouraged to receive least damage possible, because healing supplies don't come in abundance and dead party members can only be revived back at HQ. Great thing is that usually there is alternative approach to combat that can give you advantage, so being careful and observant is going to be rewarded. Overall, not much I can say more except that combat has been upgraded significantly and for the better. Things that should be upgraded combat-wise mostly come down to technical stuff again. Animations are generally weak, especially reactions to melee hits. Missing and bugged sound effects definitely take away from the impact factor as well, and not only for melee hits but some ranged as well. I'm sure sound effects will be fixed completely for the release, so it is a non-concern in the end, but we'll see about animations and hit reactions. Wasteland 3 has deep character creation system. There are many attributes, skills and perks. I love when I see so many different ways to build party members. Weapon expertise can vary from big guns, small arms, automatic weapons, explosives, brawling, melee weapons to science weapons. So your team can be whatever you want them to be, which is awesome. Next to weapon-oriented skills, there are others, such as mechanical, nerdy stuff, sneaky shit, animal whisperer, medic, and so on. Perks unlock depending on skill level, and they are either passive bonuses or active combat abilities. As you can see, there are plenty of options to play around with, and what is even better is character customization. Yes, what you see now is possible. I have created such a small character that big gun on his back is bigger than him. Also, he is expert in big guns, and his secondary weapon is frozen ferret launcher. Yes, you heard me correct. We shoot frozen ferrets at enemies. This is what I absolutely adore about In Exile games. Their writing is great, no doubt, but their humor is what sets them apart. Vulgar, funny and ridiculous. Most things in this game, if you read its description, have something funny to it. I'm not a big reader, and one of the reasons I always preferred Fallout 1 and 2 to any CRPG based on Dungeons and Dragons or similar rule sets is because those games have so much text I doze off after a while and just stop caring, but Fallout kept it more under wraps. Wasteland 3 keeps conversations compact, and I'm interested for the most part in what is being said and pay attention so I don't miss funny dialogue bits and pieces. Thing about dialogue, story and quests in Wasteland 2 and 3 is that they have many ways they could be concluded, and it truly does have an impact, immediate and lasting. For example, at the end of the beta I let my companion shoot her boyfriend because he betrayed her and caused her family to die. I'm sure that would come to bite me in the ass later, as he was part of major society called 100 Families. Fallout and Wasteland always had radical choices, and I love that. Unethical, brutal, even genocidal solutions are nothing strange in this world. Encountered characters are interesting and voiceover is amazing, even for non-important ones. Music rocks, as it did in Wasteland 2. I hope they preserve that great atmosphere as well when encountering unknown entities and discovering new factions, as it was in Wasteland 2. It was one of the underrated aspects of that game. Unfortunately, world map is not present in beta, but I'm glad that it is still here in the end. Exploration freedom preserves classic Fallout spirit. So overall my thoughts are extremely positive, and I expect them to fix technical stuff this time around, because this could truly be Game of the Year for me, because I have nothing bad to say from this beta experience besides technical stuff. Keep creating CRPGs in Exile, because you have uniqueness to your approach, which I and many others appreciate a lot. Even this messy Wasteland 3 got me hooked, and I want more as soon as possible, but would not mind at all and would actually prefer for it to be delayed, as long as it is needed, so that at release date we have Game of the Year ready, polished and fantastic.